Psalm 86, 5 to 7. You, Lord, are forgiving and good, abounding in love to all who call to you. Hear my prayer, O Lord. Listen to my cry for mercy. When I am in distress, I call to you because you answer me. See, the verse starts with God being so forgiving and good and abounding in love, meaning his love is overflowing. It's abundant. There's so much love that God can give us. And because of this love that he has for us, he listens to us when we call to him. We can call to him and he will listen to our cry. He'll listen to our cry for mercy. When we are in distress, we can boldly call the Lord because definitely he will answer us. This is what has happened in so many people's lives, including my own. But I want to share with you today about Kenneth and Susie Ware. Most all these stories that I've been sharing with you for the past few days, they are all true stories. People who have really lived and people who have really experienced this here. Kenneth and Susie lived during the World War II and they were from France. Susie was an artist, a very well-known famous artist in France, and Kenneth Ware was an evangelist, quite a popular and well-known evangelist too. So the Nazis were very carefully watching their flat. They were very carefully watching their apartment because they were such famous, well-known people. And in spite of all this, they were helping the Jews. They were hiding some of them, trying to save some of them, until Susie delivered a baby boy, and for the sake of that child they had to move to safety, and the Lord somehow in his great mercy managed to save them from the World War II situation and take them over to Switzerland, and they were safely placed in Switzerland. But they didn't have any money. They didn't have even one pie. And they didn't even know where their next meal will come from. So Susie, with a small child, her husband, didn't know what to do. So she just made a grocery list like she would. And she just took it into God's, she just placed it there on the table and prayed and said, Lord, I'm placing this at your feet. Please answer my prayers. And this is the list that she had made. She wanted 5 pounds of potatoes, 2 pounds of pastry flour. She wanted apples, pears, a cauliflower, carrots, and so on and so forth. Within a short time, there was a knock at the door, and there was a man who was wearing a blue apron, work clothes, and he carried a big basket. And he said, Madam, here are the groceries that you had asked for, and I'm just delivering them to you. And he spoke in perfect French, though they were in Switzerland. And she said, Sir, are you sure? Because, in this apartment that we are staying in, there are many other families also. Are you sure you got the right house? She also called her husband. And this man told both her and her husband that this is the list that Madam had asked for, and he just walked into their kitchen and he emptied the contents of his bag onto their kitchen table, and he thanked them and walked out. And they went to their window and they were looking down to see, which company, who has delivered, which delivery truck has brought this food for them. But they could not see the man at all. And when Susie went to the table and she checked, it was exactly the same. Exactly 5 pounds of potatoes, 2 pounds of flour, apples, pears, and a cauliflower, and every other thing that she had wanted. The exact list, whatever she had placed at God's feet, was there at her table. Soon the war ended, and they both continued to serve the Lord for the rest of their lives. And they traveled a lot. They went back to Paris. They went around so many places, and everywhere they told this testimony, and they were looking for the man who delivered, the food that day, but they could never find him. It was God who sent his angel and provided for them. So God can work in miraculous ways. He can make the impossible possible. During a war torn situation, to get a list of groceries, just like that, anything is possible. And remember, God's love is an abounding love. So He really loves you. He'll have mercy on you when you're in distress, when you are in trouble. He will definitely answer your prayers. Remember, God's love is unlimited. God's love is unconditional. God loves you.